Wealthier Redditors, how did you get your wealth and do you have any tips for a younger person? All the people I know that are wealthy have the same thing in common. They have a business that is not what you would expect. One washes linens for restaurants. Another owns empty lots and rents the space. Others run a small shop selling medical equipment. And they all put in the hours to grow their business. They worked hard to achieve it. So, one such method is to start a business and grow it. Try not to think about what is popular. Think about what isn't. Not everyone can be successful making shirts with logos on it, though everyone tries. People pay for convenience. Find a way to make people's lives easier and they will pay for it. I read a study once that said the most common character trait amongst the wealthy is frugality. I had a friend in college who worked summers as sort of a errand boy for a wealthy old couple and he said he spent a ridiculous amount of time clipping coupons. My mother is an accountant and has seen the financial information of her some odd 400 clients for years. She says the ones with the most money aren't the doctors and lawyers, it's those investing their money, regardless of how much it is. Land and stocks, baby. See all the nice stuff other people have? You really don't need it. Save the money and invest in things you know and trust. Save as much as you can and live under your means. Get your money working for you instead of working for money. Don't marry someone who can't control their spending. The amount of money they are willing to overspend on a wedding is a good indicator of how little self-control they have. You'll never get rich if your husband-wife spends it as fast as you can earn it. It is really simple if you can just make yourself do it. Get as much education as possible. Work harder than those around you every day. Live below your means. Never pay interest unless you absolutely have to. For example, yes for college loans but no for a new car. Save money and invest it. Protect your health. For example, exercise. Don't be overweight. Don't use tobacco. There is one and only one way to get rich. Spend less than you earn. And invest it wisely. This is why so many really tremendously wealthy people seem to not care about wealth. For example, Buffett and his relatively modest house that he's been in forever. They get wealthy because they're not spending anything. And through the wonders of compounding interest they accumulate vast sums over time. I got an education in what I already enjoyed doing, computer programming, but didn't go heavily into debt doing it. I got a job, continuously improved my skills and got better paying jobs. I spent less money than I made, and invested the difference in stock index funds. It's called get rich slowly, and anyone can do it. This will probably get lost, but what the hey. Take more risks while you're young, assuming you have less to lose. Spend every waking moment trying to make money, in legitimate ways, and equally important, spend those moments reducing your expenses. Once you have a decent amount, invest it in a new condo or house being built. Make a deposit. Forget it for 2 years. Sell once it's built. Rinse and repeat as needed. Now this is important. Take some amount, any amount, however small is it, and make a monthly donation to your food bank or something of the like. Even if it's $5 a month. Something small and consistent is better than a one-time extravagance. Wealth is respective. Someone will always have more money than you, but that doesn't mean they have more value for their money. Think of what you value, and focus on what you need for it. Lastly, wealth comes from transactions. The most important transaction you will make is bartering a day of your life for the life in your day. Every day you live is one more day you've lost. Ignore the do what you love rhetoric that you've been hearing since you were young. Do what you have to do to make money, then use that money to do what you love. Don't buy useless crap. Live well below your means. Understand how compound interest works. Learn how to invest. I decided what I wanted to do for a living, and did it. For 15 years. Then I was good enough to get started on my own company. I work hardish every day and most Sundays. If I don't know how to fix a problem associated with work, I make damn sure I know how to get it fixed by someone else in a hurry, and don't dick with them about the price. One other bit of advice I got from a guy that was 84 and still ran 2 business and a handful of apartment complexes. Don't F off. You can make more money, but not more time. Once the clock ticks you can't get it back. 1. Don't listen to broke finance professors at college. 2. Work hard. Save 10%. Invest 10%. 3. Do not be an idiot and spend money on fancy cars unless you have so much it means nothing to you. 4. Repeat 5. Retire. 3 years ago I started an entry-level position at 29k and this year I will reach 135k. Here are some of my suggestions on how to succeed in the business place. Always deliver on what you promise. Your work impacts at least 10 other people. Always take the crappy task nobody wants and do an amazing fucking job with it. Soon you will own that task, and that denotes responsibility, which makes you valuable to management. Always project a positive attitude. I know this sounds lame, but at least half of the adult workforce is miserable and lets it show in their daily work habits. You will stand out in a good way, your reputation precedes you, and at least 75% of the jobs promotions I've received have come from networking. If you're an arrogant prick, nobody is going to seek you out for new opportunities. Let your work do the talking. Just like in sports, nobody cares about what you say, they only care about what you do. Keep your mouth shut and your productivity up, and management will notice. Create value for yourself. Put yourself in a position where something will break, fail, die if you are not there to run, manage, coordinate it. If it's possible, avoid owning a car or more cars than you actually need. Walking is free. Bikes and transit passes are generally much cheaper than cars. When you look at the big picture, car itself, maintenance, insurance, fuel, registration, it's also healthier for you and the environment. Stop blaming others is the first step. If you're satisfied with your shitty IT admin job, you have no right to complain. Accept that the system is skewed and certain career paths led to wealth accumulation and others do not. Generally speaking, you should always prefer investment to consumption. That means either you should be in business, where you are leveraging capital, or investment, where you are allocating capital. Taken more literally, either start a business and spend 100 hours a week into growing that business, or go into finance and spend 100 hours a week working. That is not an exaggeration. Both these career paths take 100 hours per week for a long time, but you will accumulate wealth at the end of it and eventually your lifestyle will reach a more sustainable work-life balance. If you're used to working corporate jobs, this will seem extreme, but that is what it takes. It's a major cost. You must recognize that every marginal hour of extra work you do per week is more valuable than the last, because it cuts your free time down even more. If you're working 100 hours a week at your startup or at an investment bank, you literally have no time for anything but sleep. Some may not want this life, but if you're seeking true wealth, you must do one of these two things. TLDR. A. Start a business. B. Go into finance. Give a crap about your money. Seriously, if you budget and save and care about making more, you will be surprised how far that can get you. Find a skill that no one else wants to do, and master it. My dad is not wealthy, I don't think. He makes around 250k a year. To me, rich equals Kobe Bryant, wealthy equals the guy who writes out Kobe Bryant's checks. My dad installs fence. He owns a business, and has worked his ass off for it and still does. At 55, he could hire a worker to take his place and pay him minimum wage, and sit at home and just collect, but he still works. Every day, and most weekends. He doesn't buy anything he doesn't need, except for a nice dinner for his family whenever he wants. If he invests any real amount of money, it's to help his business. A reminder that wealth is relevant. I feel rich because I'm independent, but compared to many other friends I have a lot less money. Some wealthy friends are just as tied down by their yacht and mansion payments as some of my poor friends are by their crappy apartment rents. First, define what wealth means to you. Capitalism. Don't listen to the Marxists. They all went broke after spending other people's money. There are two major ingredients to my success. One is just luck, and my parents and where I grew up. I grew up in a country where education is virtually free. I worked on the side and got money from my parents to pay for uni. I also grew up near a top university, global top 20. The degree I got secured me job offers right from the start. But I only started becoming really successful and getting paid well when I took a big step and moved abroad into a career that I had been thinking about for a while. Took courage, but was well worth it. Not sure how wealthy you mean, so I don't know if I qualify, but I'll answer questions if you have any. PS. Different things will work for different people. I tried being an entrepreneur, but it wasn't for me. Although the company is successful, it worked for Stubbsy 208. Depends on your skills and interests. There is no blueprint. Network and know people. If you're socially awkward, this may be difficult, but you need to break out of your bubble. Bust your ass. I built a website in 2003 that ended up turning into a startup and being acquired. I worked on it part-time, usually 15 minutes a day or so, while working 60-80 hour weeks at another job. I'm back doing another startup and work on it all the time. An old man told a young man that he held the key to success. The young man wanted to be a football star. The old man told him to meet him at the beach. First thing in the morning, young man shows up. He's in his shorts and his runners. He thinks he's going for a workout. Old man says walk out into the water. So young man walks out to his knees. Old man follows him. Says go a little further. Young man goes out until he's up to his shoulders. He says, man, how is this gonna make me a success? Old man grabs his head. Holds him underwater. Young man is kicking, thrashing, fighting. Finally the old man lets him up. He says, you want to be a success? You'd better learn to want to succeed as badly as you want to breathe. A lot of people want to play at being successful. They want to look successful, but they don't want to put in the hard work. They'd rather sleep in, rather go to a party. If you truly want to be a success, you need to want it as badly as a drowning man wants a breath. So ask yourself, how bad do you want it? The most important part of wealth creation is being an owner, not an employee. When you own a business or a part of a business, it makes money for you while you sleep. When you are an employee, your wealth maxes out at the value of your personal contribution. And even when you are a very well-paid employee, you will never be rich because the day you stop showing up to work is the day the money stops rolling in. A lot of things that other people have said form a part of this perspective. Living below your means is the best way to create your initial investment capital. Reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad gives you the right perspective. You don't need much money to invest in a business. Picking stocks is part ownership of businesses. Starting a lawn care business is easy. You can pick up cheap properties and rent them out. The difference between all of these and being an employee is that the checks roll in whether you turn up or not, and if you're successful you can sell your equity for more than you paid for it. It is hard to get rich off one income source. Find some different ones. Investments, consulting on the side, another job, real estate, save. The best opportunities are available to people that can move quickly, and moving quickly means cash. Lots of people here talking about how to make a lot of money. That helps of course, but is also hard. Here are some things nearly anybody can do that over a long time, decades, will make you rich relative to where you are today. Live frugally, spend less than you make and have a savings goal. Keep a budget. You can't be savings conscious unless you understand all your income and cost sources. Pay off your credit card fully every month. Anything else and you're spending more than you make. This is easier said than done but is completely feasible. Most people, especially Americans, live far above their minimum needs. Save money for the long term. Have a savings target even if it's small at first and save some every single month. Have an account for long-term wealth accumulation that is separate from other goal-oriented savings accounts. For example, saving for a car, vacation, house, etc. The idea is that you have an account that just sits there for the long term that you never intend to touch, and that you continually grow. The purpose of the money there is to make more money, interest, stock appreciation. Start doing this now even if it's just a little big. Look up and understand the concept of compound interest. Don't be too much in a rush and don't be greedy. That's an easy way to lose your money. Capital is hard to build. Don't spend it loosely. And if you fall into some money, for example a bonus at work, a tax refund, save it, don't spend it. This builds capital, and remember, the people that rule this world are the ones with capital. You can't focus on the money. Most people want to get wealthy for security, which leads to freedom. Freedom to happiness, and some of the time, the freedom you're after does not exist because you are now a slave to the money, which begets greed. A bottomless pit. That's not to say money is evil. It's not. It's just a piece of paper. Man-made. It's not even real, and given the right circumstances, can help many people. My best advice would be to soul search and figure out what natural gifts you were blessed with, what talents the universe has bestowed onto you, so you may find your rightful place in it. Look at a blade of grass. It does not try to be grass. It does not work hard to be grass. It just is. The same can be said for you. Just be what you are and the rest will fall into place. It's cliche, but if you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life. And by making the world a better place by employing your gifts, wealth, both internal and external, intrinsic and material, will naturally flow in your direction. Stay out of debt. Refuse to live payday to payday. Build up a cushion. It will save you so much grief over the years and leave you open to opportunities you otherwise would have to forego because of the immediate need for cash. One of the easiest ways is fully funding your 401k, or as much as you can afford, because that money is shielded from payroll taxes in the year you make it and compounds tax free. I am 32 and have $190,000 in my 401k just from jamming that thing every year for the last 10 years. Don't waste time focusing on the small things that are pointless. For example, a lot of people will cut coupons to save 50 cents but then will not understand what they have in their retirement accounts, and they are too lazy to refinance their house even if it will save them $250 a month. Start an IRA as young as possible. Compound interest is an awesome thing. Inherited. The way to achieve extreme wealth is as follows: inherit, have connections, have money, have a crap ton of ambition. It sucks that so much of success depends on the family you are born into and not your grades or how hard you work. That's life though.